So as I said, guys, today we will talk about human excretory system. In this lesson, we will talk about main organs which make our excretory system and how they are located in the body, about their position. So firstly, let's talk about human excretory system. The human excretory system. Zahra, welcome. So, guys, human excretory system. We know that there are organs which are helping with excretion. As you remember, these organs were an example, lung or skin, sweat glands, or liver also can make with excretion because they are participating by production of urea, by the process of deamination. But if you will talk about human excretory system, this is separate system. You know, guys, that organs are making system. Organs make system. Such as previously, we learned digestive system, we learned circulatory system or transport system. This is our next system, excretory system. So the major organs of our excretory system are kidneys. Then we have ureters. We have two of them. I'm writing the number. So we have two kidneys, we have two ureters, we have one bladder, or we are calling it as urinary bladder, and we have one urethra. So these are major organs of our excretory system. Actually, as you see, it contains 6 organs: 2 kidney, 2 ureter, 1 bladder, and 1 urethra. And it will talk about their location. So firstly, I will show you a picture about their location. Just wait. So let's go through this picture. So let's say that, you know, in here we have diaphragm. We actually learned about the diaphragm. Diaphragm, as you remember, was a muscle which separates your chest cavity from abdominal cavity. This is abdominal cavity. So two organs are, two parts or two cavities are separated by the muscle, as we know, known as diaphragm. You know that diaphragm, it's also related with respiration, with breathing. When diaphragm contracts, we breathe in. Because diaphragm goes down, it becomes flat, and the volume of chest increases. But at the same time, diaphragm is a muscle which is separating these two spaces from each other. And our most organs, let's say, or major organs, kidneys, are located in abdominal cavity. So I'm drawing an arrow, let's say, so this arrow. So this arrow separates an example, it's a border between abdominal cavity and pelvic cavity. So this space, it's known as pelvic cavity. Because this region also known as pelvis, pelvic part. So we have, you know, that bones in here, known as hip bones. And the inside of this hip bones, we have a space, cavity, known as pelvic cavity. And in pelvic cavity, we can find different structures, mostly organs of urinary system or excretory system, and organs of reproductive system. Such as an example, in women, we have ovaries in here, or we have oviduct, or we have uterus, as you know. But if we will talk about excretory system, you will see that some part of the ureter is located in here, ureter, and urinary bladder is also in here. And you can see that from urinary bladder, we have one tube, what we call as urethra. Urethra, maybe you know that it is mostly in males located outside. inside of the penis, let's say, urethra in males, urethra also releases sperm cells. So urethra in males releases urine, and semen. Semen is like sperm cells with special fluids. But in females, urethra only related with urination, with the urine, releasing of urine. So these are major structures, what we have in our excretory system. I'm repeating again, our excretory system mostly located in abdominal cavity and in pelvic cavity. In abdominal cavity, we have 2 kidneys, we have 2 ureters. In pelvic cavity, we have again some parts of the ureters, bladder, and urethra. So these are our major organs. Now I will give you information about structure of kidney. I will explain it on the picture. So let's look to this picture. So kidney structure, guys, if you will have any question, you can ask, there's no problem. So if you will talk about the kidney structure, so kidneys are major organs. Their function is production of urine. Production of urine. Guys, do not mix it with urea. Production of urea occurs in the liver. Liver, if you remember, because of the deamination process, produces urea. But I'm talking in here about urine. So kidneys produce urine, which is, you know, that our major excretory product. Then you know that, yes, I'm listening, Melek.
Can you say that urea is just compound, but urine is mixture?
Of course, of course. Guys, don't forget this information. Like if we will compare like
Hi,
this.
Mr. Perez.
Hello, Mikhail, welcome. How are you?
Are you happy to see me again?
Again? So we have guys.
Are you happy to see me again, Mr. Perez?
Of course, always. I'm happy.
Oh.
So guys, like if we will compare urine and feces, you know that in the feces we had mostly undigested particles, let's say. Also in the feces, we said that we have bacteria, some bacteria. And also in the feces, we can find, if you remember, some dead cells of intestine wall, some dead cells. But if you will look to the urine, in urine, we have mostly water, some amount of unneeded salts, also urea are major components. So urea, as you see, it's one component of urine. So urine is a mixture. And you know that these 3 substances together will make, let's say, that yellow colored substance, liquid, because water, it is clear substance, but with the mixing with urea and salt, they are becoming yellow colored. So I'm talking now about the functions of kidneys. So kidneys' main function is to produce urine, but what's the reason, or what are the main processes, or how they will affect the body? So production of urine is related with the control of blood content. So and as a result, we will say that the control the content of blood, the content of blood. Because guys, you know that blood is very important substance for the body. Because if in the blood we will have more salt, blood will become concentrated. Your blood will take more water by osmosis, pressure will increase. Increase in pressure means that they can burst, can make bleeding. So you always need to control the substances in the blood. They need to be in a needed level. So kidney, by removing all unneeded parts, let's say controls the content of blood, controls the pressure, controls the osmotic pressure, osmotic balance of the kidney. So we can say that controls osmotic balance. You know that osmotic means that it is related with water, so it controls water balance. And also, it's related with excretion. Controls, let's say, excretion. But control in here, not directly, because directly in our body, control related with the nervous system, with the brain, let's say. But brain, let's say that in this function works with kidney. If we will talk about the structure of kidney, guys, you must know that we have 3 layers, okay? We have 3 layers in the kidney. These are, first part is outer part. It is known as cortex region. So we have cortex. Inside, we have medulla. Medulla is our second part. It's known as medulla. And we have third layer known as pelvis. Pelvis. It's also known as, in some books, they are saying renal pelvis. We have also renal pelvis. So we have renal pelvis, we have renal cortex, and renal medulla. Why we are saying renal? Guys, you know what renal means? Kidney. But our brain also has cortex part, cortex region. Or in our brain, we have medulla region. Guys, do you know any information about medulla? Because actually we learned it in our previous lessons.
Yes, it controls our motion.
Motion?
Movement.
Motion controlled. Movement, no. Movement and motion, if you remember, controlled by the cerebellum. So like small part of the brain. Who knows, guys, the function of medulla? Why we need it? Medulla, guys, controls your breathing and heart rate, if you remember, and digestion. Especially we
Also
learned it.
blood pressure.
Yes, of course. Like mostly, if you remember, guys, we are learning as a center of breathing. So your breathing movements are related with the medulla. I'm not talking about this medulla, okay? I'm talking medulla in the brain. In the brain. So in kidney, I'm repeating again, don't forget, we have 3 regions. If we will go from outer to inner part, we will have cortex, 1, we will have medulla, 2, and we will have pelvis. Another thing, you know, kidneys are receiving, just wait, they are receiving blood, of course, because blood is filtrated. So let's say that again, this is our kidney. I'm drawing only 1 kidney. Yeah. Again, please, Melek.
Then they filtrate blood and these unneeded parts.
Yes, of course. So let's say that is the blood vessel, which is coming from the heart and goes to the lower parts of the body. And one branch of this blood vessel goes to this kidney. Guys, this kidney will be our right kidney. So this is, don't forget, is our right kidney. Because if you remember, we always say that image is opposite. So it is our right kidney. So you can see that one branch of this blood vessel enters the kidney. Guys, do you know what was the name of this blood vessel?
Renal Artery.
It is very good, of course, guys. Don't forget, it is a renal artery. This is one of them. So each kidney receives blood by renal artery. Guys, do you know what is the name of this blood vessel, which is coming to the lower parts? Again, please.
No, maybe like...
You don't know? Okay, this is, guys, a branch of aorta. Yes, it's a branch of aorta. This is known as abdominal aorta. Abdominal aorta. So it's a branch of aorta, because you know that aorta sends blood to all parts of the body. And you know, it is oxygenated blood. So in a renal artery, we will have more oxygen. So this oxygenated blood enters to the kidney and filtration occurs. And after filtration, another blood vessel is leaving kidneys, like this one. It is leaving. What is the name of this blood vessel?
Renal vein.
Of course, it will be, yes, guys, it will be renal vein. And the renal vein will join to the another large vessel, let's say, which takes blood from the lower part to the
Inferior.
part. Yes, very good. This is, let's say, that vena cava, or if we will go with more detail, it is, yes, inferior vena cava, guys. So this blood vessel is known as inferior vena cava. So we can find these blood vessels also in our left kidney. So in each kidney, we have one renal artery and one renal vein, which is leaving. So now I will write simple information about the differences between renal artery and renal vein. So we have the renal artery and we have renal vein. So now I will compare them. So if I will compare few differences, I'll write an example first. I will compare them according to the oxygen. Of course, renal artery will have more oxygen because it is oxygenated, but the renal vein will have less oxygen because it is deoxygenated. Of course, if I will compare their carbon dioxide level, renal artery, it was oxygenated, it will have less carbon dioxide, but in the renal vein, we will have more carbon dioxide. Another difference, let's write about urea. In renal artery, we have more urea, but renal vein is coming from the kidney, so it is filtrated. It is more like, they will contain more useful substances, so it will be less, of course, urea. If we will compare the amount of, let's say that water and let's say salts, in renal artery, we will have more water and salt, but in renal vein, we will have less water, salt, like needed level. Less in here means like needed amount. Another information, guys. Let's go to the next part of our lesson. So we talked about the general structure. Now I will share the book. So we talked about these layers, about the ureter. Now we are going to talk about kidney tubules. About kidney tubules. This is very important part. Kidney tubule. So in each kidney, guys, in each kidney.
Kidney what?
Tubules. Tubule. Tubule means, Mikhail, small tube like. Okay. So,
And also,
yes.
Mr. Perez, may I ask a question?
Of course, always.
This summer lessons means that you will be our biology teacher next year.
Not. Yes.
Okay.
So if we will talk about tubules, kidney tubules, if you remember, we were talking about kidney tubules. So in each kidney, guys, we have nearly 1 million nephrons. Nephron. I will explain firstly what is nephron, guys. Nephron is a unit of filtration, like the process of urine formation. So we are saying that nephrons are functional units. They are functional units. They are functional units of kidney. Now I will draw one example. So in each, every nephron looks like this one. So they have this type of part. I'm drawing a general picture, okay? You will see because more better picture, let's say. This is what general diagram. Like this one, guys. It will be better, of course, to draw it to your copybook, or later you can draw it, because I will share recording again, so you can draw it later. But it is very important picture for us. So what are the major parts of the nephron? So this is one nephron. As I said, we have million in each kidney. So we will have many tubelets. So what are the major parts? This part of the nephron is known as renal capsule. It is also known as Bowman's capsule. Bowman, probably the scientist who found Bowman's capsule. Then we have this type of tubes or tubules. These are known as proximal tubules. Proximal tubules. Like, let's say that proximal means that the first. Then these tubules, guys, are known as distal tubules. Distal tubules. This is the, let's say that next, like front tubule we have and hind tubules. This part, which is going down and up, is known as loop of Henle. Loop of Henle. And the last part is in here, we have collecting duct. Collecting duct. And in every collecting duct, let's say that there can be another nephron or another nephron ending. It is like changing, like this one. Look, guys. So one collecting duct receives, let's say, urine from different nephrons, not only for one of them. And this urine, we will call it urine, will go to the pelvis part of the kidney. So it goes to the renal pelvis. And from the renal pelvis, urine will go to the ureter, then urinary bladder, and by urethra, it will leave the body. Another information, guys, what you need to learn. There's one more part, but it's also related with the blood vessels. So blood is coming to this space inside, like this one, and leaving it, like this one. The name of this part is known as glomerulus. Glomerulus. It is known as glomerulus, guys. Glomerulus. So this is simplified picture of nephron. So this is one nephron, guys, don't forget. So if we will go back to our picture, what we had in the book. So look, in this picture, you can see one nephron. So this is a nephron. As I said, in this region, we have glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. This is our proximal tubule. This is loop of Henle. This is distal tubule, and this one was collecting duct. As you see, collecting ducts are coming, or they are opening to the pelvis. So pelvis will receive this urine and will send it through ureter to the urinary bladder. And urinary bladder will store it. If we will look to this picture, again, the similar picture we will have, you can see in here glomerulus, you can see renal capsule, and we have proximal and distal tubules, between them loop of Henle, and all of them are opening to the collecting duct. So this was, guys, the anatomy, anatomical information. because you know that anatomy is related with the structure. So I gave information only about structures. Now I'm going to the physiology, which means functions, how this process occurs. So urine formation is our next part of the lesson. Urine formation. So actually, there are three major steps. First step is known as filtration. Filtration. Filtration, or we are calling it ultrafiltration. Both of them are correct. Or ultrafiltration. We have second stage is reabsorption. Reabsorption. We have reabsorption. This is the second stage. Third stage is known as secretion. Secretion. In some books, they are giving fourth part like process. It's known as excretion, like removing from the body. So these are 4 stages of urine formation, guys. I'm repeating again. We will talk step by step about these processes. We have filtration, we have reabsorption, secretion, and excretion, guys. Now I'm going to talk firstly about filtration. So one by one, we will talk. Yes, Maksud, what's your question?
Mr. Fergus, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you were showing us nephron, there was part where blood was passing. How it's called?
Just wait, I will answer. So I'm sorry. Can you repeat again the question?
When you were showing us the nephron, there was a part where blood was passing. How is this part called?
It was, as you say, look, I wrote it. Glomerulus. Yes, it is known as glomerulus. Actually, glomerulus is a capillary network's name. Okay, it's a name of capillary network. So let's begin, guys, with first stage. Yes, let's begin with first stage. As I said, we call this stage as filtration. Now I'm going to talk about filtration. So I will draw firstly Bowman capsule, Bowman's capsule. So let's say that this is Bowman's capsule. Okay. So what is the filtration, or how this process occurs? So you know that in each nephron, blood is coming to this region, and then it becomes capillary and leaves with another blood vessel. So what you need to learn in here, guys, the name of this blood vessel, which is coming to the Bowman's capsule, it's known as afferent arteriole. You know that arteriole, it's a small branch of artery. So it's a branch of renal artery. So renal artery in the kidney changes into arterioles, and this one is known as afferent arteriole, which means that entering arteriole, let's say. The one which is leaving, because you know, guys, blood is moving in this direction. Look. The vessel which is leaving, it is known as efferent arteriole. So we have coming one and leaving one. And we had between them capillary network, what we called as glomerulus. So what happens, guys? Now I will explain what's filtration. The diameter of afferent and efferent arteriole is different. Such as afferent arteriole is wider Efferent arteriole is narrower. So big vessel is coming and leaves as small vessel, let's say narrow vessel. And this difference in diameter creates high pressure in glomerulus, guys. So the difference in diameter produces high pressure in glomerulus, in the capillary. And this pressure pushes small molecules from the glomerulus to the bulbous capsule, like this one. So high pressure created by the diameter, and this high pressure pushes small molecules from glomerulus to the bulbous capsule. So the name of this process is known as ultrafiltration. This process is non-selective process, non-selective, which means that they are not selecting which one will move, which is not. So there's only one thing which affects the movement, the size of molecule. So if molecule is small, if molecule can pass through the holes, pores on the walls, they will leave. Such as glucose can pass this barrier. Glucose can pass. Glucose, amino acid, water, different minerals, salts, urea. Okay, these molecules, guys, will pass because they are small molecules. But which molecules can't pass? Large molecules, such as proteins, guys. You know that proteins were large molecules. They contain many amino acids. And these proteins will not pass this barrier because they are large enough. So in healthy urine, there's no protein. Another thing, blood cells, guys. Blood cells, you know, that are large structures, let's say. Of course, they will not pass this barrier. And this mixture, what we can find in bulbous capsule, it's known as filtrate. Filtrate. So this is known as filtrate. So they are saying that in every day, through the kidney, nearly 1,800 liters of blood is passing through through kidneys, guys, both kidneys. So from the kidneys, 1,800 liters of blood passing. And from this 1,800 liter, nearly 180 liter passes to this area and becomes filtrate. But you know that in one day, we are nearly producing approximately 1.5 liter of urine. So this means that some substances will pass back to the blood. And this process is known as reabsorption. So this is the first stage, guys. Do you have any question from filtration or ultrafiltration?
No.
Okay. Let's go to the second stage. So as I said, second stage was reabsorption. Reabsorption. Reabsorption in a simple way is this process, movement of some needed substances from the kidney tubule back to the blood. From the kidney tubule back to the blood. Back to the blood. So by reabsorption, substances are passing back to the blood. And this process is selective process. So they are choosing which ones will pass. Guys, you know that we have less than 1 minute. So I'm repeating again. After finishing of session, please join to the another session with us using same link. So general, I will explain the general logic of this process. So let's say that, guys, this is our kidney tubule. It doesn't matter this is proximal tubule or distal tubule or loop of Henle. It doesn't matter. And let's say that this is blood vessel. So some substances will pass back from kidney to the blood, like this one. So this is blood vessel. And this is kidney tubule. So some substances are passing back to the blood. The name of this process is reabsorption, such as